Jack Deth Review Show. It's a Jack Deth Review Show. Jack Deth Review Show. It's the Jack Deth Review Show.
Join us as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a Jack Deth Review Show. It's a Jack Deth Review Show. Jack Deth Review Show. It's a Jack Deth Review Show. It's a Jack Deth Review Show. Jack Deth Review Show.
So you even hold the cigarette cool, man.
Thank you.
If you dim the lights a little bit and just let the glow of it light you up, that'd be kind of cool.
Godzilla versus Zigra. The ultimate camera crossover no one expected. So, welcoming back post shit show that was 2020. I'm joined by Nightmare Nerd Ryan.
Greetings, my fellow horror fanatics, and piss off to Charles Band.
My horrific lives, Erica Wright.
Hello, everyone.
There's no recovering from that. And Cinema
Have you seen what he's doing next?
No.
Ginger Weed Man.
Ginger
He's
Weed
still-
Man, Jesus.
Oh.
He's still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His father passed away, but he and his composer brother Richard, who we'll get to, are always kicking. Cinema Drunk and Action Drunkie, Rob Antiquara.
Hello.
Hello. All right, don't go all Leroy Jenkins on me here. Johnny Patoki of Attack of the B Movies.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. I'm glad to be back here.
Always glad to have you guys. So I decided, let me get off my ass and find an app that won't kick us off after 40 minutes or kick half of us off on Skype. So there it is. I had experience with WebEx, Cisco, and it was like, it's never let me down. So
Nice.
let's bet on tonight. And it's got the timer here, so I feel like I'm on an episode of some, I don't know, assassin doomsday show.
Yes. So try not to talk as much.
Oh, so the guy who loves to talk while hammered. Anyway,
Hey, I'm not there yet.
I don't know where we will be. I am so glad you guys could all be in the same room finally after what seemed like just never-ending just boredom and struggles and restlessness. So,
Absolutely.
For sure.
so after healing, hopefully on the holidays, and telling everyone else to suck our dicks on Twitter.
Yeah.
Here. So.
See, I stay away from Twitter. That Twitter is like the Mos Eisley Cantina to me.
You're gonna lose an arm.
Just a hi-
You are
Just a-
gonna lose an arm.
just a hive of scum and villainy. I don't,
There's a reason it's referred to as the hell site. It is fucking atrocious at times.
What does it say about me that I thrive there?
It's always so funny how many celebs will pull an Alec Baldwin and say, I'm quitting it, and then they're back, like
Yeah.
40 minutes later, and it's like, shut up.
That's how I am
Totally.
with Facebook. Like, I never got hooked on Twitter to the same degree, but it's hard to get off Facebook.
I'm with Dan though. It's like I seem to thrive there the most. Like
It's like the hashtags get eaten up better.
I just do not let myself get dragged into anything there. I just go every day and post random stuff at intervals. And
right, absolutely.
It helps that sometimes you'll be tagged in a thread, and then for whatever reason, it'll say item not showing up, or you'll just see everyone else's comment is like, well, I guess I'm glad I'm part of some positive conversation.
That's good.
Right.
But yeah, so before there was social media, there was, long story short, the independent film company and drive-in circuit that was Empire Pictures. Later becoming Full Moon Entertainment and briefly distributed by Paramount
what day
Home Video.
began?
Yeah, this is our second episode tackling Charles Band, the indie film producer's biggest franchises. Outside of Subspecies and
Ghoulies.
Ghoulies and Puppet Master and even just
Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Ginger Dead Man,
Evil
FEMA
Bong.
Alien. all
Evil
this.
Bong.
How
Yeah.
how are you guys leaving out the masterpiece Laser Blast?
Well, I mean,
I
it's
haven't
I was gonna say Doll Man.
Doll Man, that's actually
Yeah.
not bad.
that's true. That's part.
Dr. Mordred.
That's kind of why I just left it with Puppet Master since it's part of the Demonic Toys saga.
Doll Man versus Demonic Toys was the movie where I found out you can shoot Pepsi out of your nose. Like, no, I laughed so hard at one moment in that movie. I was drinking Pepsi and I shot it out of my nose and it burned like hell.
That's fine.
I'll bet.
Was it because you were realizing that Albert Pion can probably make something semi-watchable?
No, it was Doll Man and Demonic Toys. It was when they had him tied up and they was like, "We're waiting for the master," and he was like, "Who is he? A fucking Ken doll?" And that shit made me laugh so hard.
Oh, Charles has a good sense of humor. Now, definitely something that's required for any of these lowbrow movies.
Yeah.
So we are introduced to time traveler and badass self narrating cop Jack Deth.
Yeah, one of the great badass names.
One of the great names, yeah.
Tim Thomerson was born to be a gritty cop or a gritty drill sergeant.
That's true.
So I'm gonna ask you, how many of you saw this like on TV versus video rentals versus?
I saw it on TV.
Yep, TV.
I may have seen it on TV originally, but I remember seeing it on video at some point too.
Gotcha. I'm sure these were big on UPN and Showtime and
Oh, wow.
Adult Swim would every once in a while, especially Eric Andre, would show random clips from this just to make everyone just be confused and get them in a mood.
I was gonna say I didn't see it before this last week, so
Yeah, thanks to Tubi, Erica is now
Yeah,
educated
yeah.
of the insanity that ruled video stores. So
yeah,
I have one
aware of it.
when
I-
the short city of Los Angeles on DVD, because those are the only ones I want to have. I don't want to have the rest of them.
I know.
To be fair, it was cheaper. It was cheaper for me to buy the first 5 than just the first 2. So I ended up with all 5 anyway. And I'd never seen the 6th one, so I'm like, well, let me buy it. That might have been a mistake.
Oh,
I've never seen the 6th one either.
I haven't either, but I keep hearing that it's some of the dumbest shit known to man, which
Dumbest shit from Full Moon? Say it ain't so!
Yeah, we're not watching these for the intellectual value, though, right? I mean,
I have paid for many a Full Moon movie, but it's never been for a Trancers film. Thanks to El Rey Network, I was able to get for most of these, but I'm not surprised that they closed down since they just weren't showing anything this last year.
You know, I have long-term plans to do a pretty long video channel where I'm just going to delve in and say, Full Moon, what the hell happened?
Maybe you could do a better version of the director's chair where you just interview all the Charles Band alums and say, what the hell were you thinking?
I forget. I think it was in the Joe Bob group on Facebook. Actually, there was discussion about Full Moon. One guy contributed who said he had worked on a Full Moon production. He described Charles Band as, and I quote, like Ed Wood, but without the vision.
Oh.
ouch.
Oh.
Ah.
I doubt it was C. Courtney Joyner since he's loyal to him, so it's probably someone else who was just had nothing to lose.
that's savage.
It
Yeah.
is. That's funny though, and I'm sure he's like, "Yep, that's true."
Oh, he revels in it.
He doesn't care. At least
That was
He wouldn't have made Corona zombies if he did.
Wanted to let an opportunity go past.
So years before making borderline unwatchable shit with Misty Monday and all these other has-been B movie guys and Donald F. Glut, we get Trancers. So this came out before Back to the Future, but many have noticed how it's kind of a cyberpunkish Evil Dead kind of movie with a bunch of Blade Runner and Terminator influences.
It definitely Blade Runner and Terminator is both big influences on Trancers.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a unique way of time travel too in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was when, credit where it's due, Charles Band was actually creative. He was putting out some really original and unique stuff.
Yep. And this is before his move to Romania and other needless tinkering. But I think why I liked him more than Roger Corman is he just sneaks in as many jokes as he can and just has all these other talented people like Stuart Gordon and other people just method with their special effects department.
Yep.
And instead of just relying on doing just endless just rip-offs or, he'll just kind of do his distorted, demented take on something and just, again, since it's a family owned business, according to this one book that is on the history of Full Moon, that's basically how everyone felt when they were on his movies, just like they're being treated like their cousins or relatives. In a good way.
Like third or fourth, not third or fourth cousin.
Well, it's definitely here. So I was digging this one when I first saw it. I've never been big on Helen Hunt, but I understand why she became a big A-lister after this.
Can you fill us in on why? Or
I just always kind of figured she was just, silly sitcom star.
Which is exactly what she became.
Right.
Hey, they all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the plot in this? It's just kind of plods along or plays it safe, or is it just kind of whatever? Part of the 80s?
No, I like
this is total 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's total 80s in a good way though. Like it's unique at the time, at least, the way he time travels and the whole Trancer idea.
He doesn't require a DeLorean car to do it.
It's a fun concept. I was somewhat pleasantly surprised.
You were pretty unsure.
I was not sold on this. But when I was watching, it's like, well, yeah, this is really cheesy, Full Moon level production, but it's a fun concept, and I like some of the actors in it. There's some clever concepts and good one-liners, but I'll just save some of those thoughts back till we get to the second film.
Yeah.
So I was really blown away by it when I first saw it, but then I rewatched it as part of Elvira's 30 Days of a Halloween, and it was a slug for whatever reason. I was like, what the fuck? I was blown away by this movie. Why is it so slow and unfocused this go around?
I actually still dig it. I still dig it a lot.
I still think it's a great 80s movie, especially compared to how Back to the Future ends up becoming, but it's just one of those, it's just like, you got to be in the right mood.
I would agree with that, but I mean, generally, as always, I agree with Rob.
Yeah.
I did feel like the pacing of it was kind of sluggish in the second half of the film.
Which is crazy, because usually in the second half of all these movies, that's where he starts getting crazy and just wrapping it all up with explosions. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess it just didn't hold my attention quite as much.
I like it still. I'm just
part of it.
It's. I guess you could say it's a rainy day kind of movie. I guess.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Or a weed movie.
It definitely would be a weed movie. It would definitely get extra value if they just did an anniversary Q&A, because Thomerson's been too quiet lately.
Yeah.
Or a 2 a.m. Buzz movie.
Yeah. Everything is entertaining at 2 a.m. So, unless nothing's happening. How do we feel about all these zombie type villains? Because they're basically in human form and
yeah, it works. I mean,
I like Zombie Santa. That was cool.
yeah, he's a trancer.
Everything in the 80s had to be set at a mall or just on a highway, and everyone's yelling at each other exposition. I'm gonna save you.
Yeah,
and they weren't typical normal zombies too. So I mean, it was a nice little twist at least. It wasn't,
Yeah,
They did add something different.
For sure. Oh, on to one of the favorites by Good Bad Flicks YouTube channel, the second film.
Yeah. I actually prefer the second film the most out of the entire series.
Absolutely,
The second film is my favorite.
I know.
agree with that. It's my
I can't blame
I
anyone.
kind of got the formula right.
Oh, this is just
Yeah.
also
Totally agree. Totally agree.
and you gotta love something where someone like uses a Jeep car as like a body shield. Bunch
I
of
think-
trash cans and
I agree with Dan that it definitely got the formula down perfectly in this one, especially with the fact that you have Helen Hunt and then you have Megan Ward as his previous wife, and you have that kind of like
she has a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's almost like I would say the Leprechaun franchise, where first one they were,
Oh heavens!
first one they were trying a little too hard. Second one they eased up a bit, and that's when they found their stride.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense now. Because I'm about to say, be nice. This doesn't need Warwick Davis overacting.
I also think that this one had a slightly
Everything
better
needs
plot
Warwick
too.
Davis overacting.
I love Warwick Davis. I'm just saying he's better than the movie.
Hold on, Cameron. What would you say, John?
I think this one had a slightly better plot. I like the concept of how they were raising an army of them, right? Like
Yeah.
it gave you a little more like depth or background, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more or less, it's daring to insert all these new challenges now that they've established everything. And Richard Lynch is just brilliant as the villain, and I like how he's kind of a mad scientist in hiding, as opposed to just he's all out there.
Right. And of course, it's Richard Lynch, so
Yeah, this is the first start of where you start seeing a bunch of Star Trek and Babylon 5 people be in this franchise.
yeah, most definitely.
Overall, with the story, I mean, this is by, again, Paul DeMaio, who rest in peace, and Danny Bilson, who later went on to do shows like, Viper and Sentinel,
And don't forget the Flash.
The Flash, and it's just so wild how they would just always have a bunch of comedians like Richard Belzer and Art LaFour, who's in this as well, in these movies. The Rocketeer and Defy Bloods and their James Bond video games are definitely the best of their career, in my opinion. But yeah, here, I mean, I think this is the thing. I mean, Trancers should have just been a weekly TV show. I think everyone would have watched the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I think it still should be.
I could have seen this as an early Sci-Fi Channel series, actually.
I'm really
Yeah, for sure.
surprised that it didn't, because it just has UPN Sci-Fi written all over it. So,
Not like the budget was huge. I mean, they could have afforded it.
yeah, they $2 million. That's around the average special effects type show. So yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely. Also, can we just put it out there that this movie has one of the greatest lines in movie history?
Which
so
one?
many.
There's countless.
Yeah.
So.
Erica laughing already knows what I'm talking about when the exploding ham.
Yes, past the
Good.
mustard. Yeah.
Yeah, God damn it, McNulty. The next time someone passes you an exploding ham, I'm gonna pass the mustard.
Oh my god.
So many.
Only Charles Band.
Dude, that fucking line is amazing, dude.
I like it. I didn't expect you to pick that one.
This movie,
There were so many like fucking hilarious but stupid lines. Like, what was the other one? Oh, Jack's like, "It's me, your husband," and then Alice is like, "Jack, the only man I ever had sex with."
That's the one I remember.
And then when she passes out, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh Jesus!
this movie probably had about as many good one-liners as Commando did.
It's definitely the kind of logic you want to go by. Instead of Mark L. Lester type pyrotechnics, you got Jeffrey Combs as Dr. Pyle and and Tony winning actress Toma Hopkins.
Yeah.
There's like one.
I
Though, like Jeffrey Combs is an amazing actor, and they did not use him nearly enough in this.
Yeah.
I do often forget that he's in this because he's just a supporting role.
Yeah.
Right. That's how underutilized he is because you forget he's in it.
You don't know if he's gonna all of a sudden pull a 180 and betray someone, and it's like, yeah, no, he's just there. But
Yeah.
I'm glad he's here.
I also think it's the sweetest one, This movie is the reason I hate all the other ones, especially Part 3. Part 3 is the one I hate the most, is because it has such a beautiful arc. You know what I'm saying? Like he has his first wife, and then he has his new wife Lena, and he could go back in time, and he could be the leader and whatever with her, but he chooses to stay in the present with Lena, because this is where he belongs now, and it ends perfectly to me, with when they finally get their house, and what did you say, Mr. Jack Deth did again? Him, fortune teller, real life fortune teller, and it's such a perfect ending.
Yeah,
I feel like he had more chemistry with Alice, in all honesty. Well, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, but the movie itself, like Rob said, it was a good way to wrap it.
Yeah,
I don't know if there was a need for another 4.
Well, then we would have complained that, I want to see more of Jack.
And I think that's probably why they made the third one, because people just liked watching Tim Thomerson as Jack Deth. I mean, 4 or 5. I mean, as bad as they are, he's in them.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. And at the end of this, we'll do all our 5-star ratings. And
yeah,
this is gonna be some deep hurting, but we'll get there. And I after part 2, though, I was surprised that it didn't have a produced by Sam Raimi credit, because it just kind of had that kind of vibe. This is like I was waiting for the plot twist where Thomerson rips off his face and it's Bruce Campbell saying, "I'm a Deadite."
Or they just get doused in fake blood, and then Campbell jumps out with the chainsaw.
And there you go. Exactly. Yeah.
He just slices a trancer, and there you go.
And then they wake up, and William Shatner comes in saying, "Welcome to the holodeck."
Yeah.
Have you seen my toupee?
Oh, you see my toupee?
William Shatner does have a great toupee, by the way. I just have to say.
I'm hoping by now it's something a little more advanced than a toupee.
It's definitely Denny Crane level. So
yeah,
Denny Crane. Yeah. Where have we? Oh, that's right. So after time traveling again and time traveling again, Death lives on and has to fight Colonel Daddy, played by Andrew Robinson from Deep Space Nine and Hellraiser fame. So here's where it gets all Blackwater, for lack of a better word.
The best is the Wikipedia page for this. The first line says he's a successful private detective catching cheating lovers in the act.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd say that's a successful private detective. Like, he just saved the world numerous times.
Basically, he's good at anything, so basically they just call it successful, even though it really requires very little effort. It's PIS, plot-induced stupidity, which is every movie, if you think about it hard.
True.
So he must fight Shark, played by wrestler R.A. Mahalioff.
Don't
I
you
said
think
that name 3 times fast.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hope I pronounced it right. I'm sorry if I didn't.
What you were saying, Johnny?
I almost think this one, because it's more of a darker tone, because him and the wife aren't getting along as well and stuff. This is almost like The Empire Strikes Back. This should have been the second one, and then the second one should have been the third one with the happy ending.
Well, good bad flicks.
But I don't know if anybody would have watched it in that order, though.
I don't know what anyone would have watched any of this in, because, I mean, they all really, other than some of the same sets, they don't have the same visual look, which is crazy.
No, not at all.
Some of them seem to have some of the same camera crew, and so it's just like, I don't know what the fuck happened here, but
the problem with part 3 is it makes out Lena to be such a bitch, because
I kind of got that from the movie 1, though.
No, in part 3 she goes into overdrive with it, because like, honey, he stayed back in time for you, and you fucking just move on with him. Like, even when he tries to kiss her, that was a long time ago, Jack. Like, fuck you.
Well, to be fair,
to
be fair, she had Twister coming up. She didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, I think the actress realized this material.
As many.
I think she realized she was beneath the material, and at the same time,
no, that's what it was.
I find her very annoying in movie 1 on that rewatch. So
she's like Tim Thomerson, Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Oh, well, now I wish Bill was in here as one of the bad guys. Well, look at what I got here. I got myself a Trancer.
Finger looking good.
I hear you went to Tombstone one time. Hey, can you quick draw? Come on.
Bullseye.
What's the line he says in the original Terminator? Is like, fuck
fuck
you.
no, he was like, I think this guy's a couple cans short.
Can't show him a six-pack.
yes. He
Last Planet.
Day tomorrow.
He should have been the bad guy.
Right?
There you go. He should have had his near dark powers and looked like how he did in the first Terminator.
And
I have to say, no, go ahead, Johnny.
I was gonna say, last line of this movie, as Thomerson shoots him and kills him, the last thing he says, "Game over, man."
There you go.
Yeah, let's move on because I'm getting sad now because Bill Paxton is no longer with us.
Yeah.
That one still devistates me to this day. I'll never get over it.
If you want to hijack the show, you can.
We are celebrating.
I'm just giving you shit, dude.
I mean, we are. We are celebrating him, but it's still a reminder that Bill Paxton is no longer with us, and it fucking sucks.
No, he's with us. He's with us as long as we've got that great spirit in our hearts.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Either way.
That was far more touching than anything else on this podcast.
I'm gonna jump off the balcony Scarface style here. Anyway, so I was digging RJ, played by Melody Smith of Seinfeld and also Deep Space Nine fame, and Thelma returned as Ruthie. I guess what was annoying, and this is a remainder for the rest of the movies, was Stephen Mock. I just didn't like him in this role. He just seemed like he didn't know what the fuck he was saying.
And also, they killed off McNulty. Like, fuck you. Like, how could you? McNulty was just like, and you kill McNulty off? Like, I find it poignant. No, not at all. Like, Art LaFleur is just heaven sent. I love Art LaFleur and everything.
I like Art LaFleur, but he was always supporting, and his last lines that he says to Thomerson kind of made me want to see him be avenged for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, no.
It's all good.
Still.
We can agree to disagree. It's all good. So, moving on to that, after just, again, what feels like a Star Trek type plot line, it just basically just ends with the usual over-the-top silliness that I expect Trancers to end with, and then moving on to movie number 4 and 5, where for whatever fucking reason, there just needed to be more sets at Charles Band's mansion in Romania.
Jack of Swords, where they gave Jack shit.
Yeah.
David Nutter of X-Files and Terminator TV show fame. Why did you begin your career this way?
Yeah.
And how did he get the other gigs?
Well,
right,
TV.
Right. Like the man made disturbing behavior. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, how could you sit there? You know,
he's a nut.
as you will see by that comment, I'm a huge fan of disturbing behavior.
No, all good. I mean,
I love that movie so much.
This dude is an Emmy-winning director, so this is a big deal.
It's true. Like, you know, like he Emmy-winning director, and this is where you got your start. And the two worst fucking Trancers movies ever made. Like, come on, dude.
I think the biggest irony is Peter David's been known for being a good, fiction writer of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, and he's, worked on Nickelodeon, Young Justice, Ben 10.
Sometimes you just gotta pay the bills, man.
But you
do the favors, right? I mean, one way or the other. You
that's
start
true.
somewhere.
But here's the irony: his silver website also bashed the movie, so you can't say that the ratings on this are rigged.
Well, Tim Thomerson bashed the movies himself. He
I know.
Doing 4 and 5.
He still did them though, so fuck him.
5 was kind of obvious. It's called Trancers 5: The Quest for More Money. I mean,
and
merchandising.
Oh my god, I think I feel sorry for Loeffler and Monroe the most. A Night of the Roxbury's, Wagon East, Dead Man on Campus.
Yeah.
And just he's always the go-to douchebag who often gets killed or plays an authority figure, and here he is with nothing to do. So aside from just I think the biggest issue, aside from just it looking like a student film and just all this ugly overexposed lights and shots that just don't match up, I don't go here to watch an award-winning movie, but when you just have that much bizarre discombobulated editing, I just get taken out. And I think the biggest problem is all the new characters and Harris from the last one are just so fucking annoying in one note. I'm just waiting for Thomerson to almost pull a evil Ash moment and just be like, well, it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah, and it kind of
I'm the guy with the gun.
and 4 and 5 kind of turned Jack into a loser type. Like,
he gets his ass beat so bad, and it's just
he's such a fucking
Worf in
loser.
the early seasons of Star Trek. No, we know he's a badass, but for some reason he keeps getting thrown around.
He must have had one too many of beer, because then you keep waiting for him to say a one-liner, and he doesn't even say that. He's just kind of just shrugs his shoulder like, I guess I'm gonna ride the horse to the kingdom.
Rostauer. No.
And then you wonder why Tim Thomerson said he regrets this one.
Yep.
I don't understand the going to the medieval style dimension or whatever. It's like, did they watch like
I think
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and said, "Hey, I got an idea"?
I think they were
Like,
doing that. They were watching.
It's like, don't mix my sci-fi and my fantasy if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Well, and it seemed like every movie or show would be doing that at that point.
And not only that, they decide to do that for fucking 2 movies. Like, oh
Yeah.
god.
Well, it's like they started off this series of movies with a somewhat unique time travel concept, right? What unique type of zombie. And then it seems like by this movie, they were trying to play catch up to what everyone else was doing.
At this point, they might as well have just pulled a Roger Corman and just done stock footage from other Charles Band movies. Just stock footage of robot jocks would have been way more entertaining than any of this Kingdom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they call the rebel group the Tunnel Rats. That should have been a pot of gold right there. And you just forget what they're called because, again, they're just so fucking annoying. But Lord Caliban is just like, how does this little shit get to be an evil lord? There's nothing imposing about him. Or campy.
Yeah, and the whole the whole transfer idea is completely different in this one too. It's like they're just kind of there naturally, almost like, huh? It's almost like, hey, let's make a vampire film. No, don't use vampires. We're gonna call them Trancers.
Yeah. Well, that would have actually been better had he decided. Because he was filming this around time he's doing Subspecies, those fun gothic vampire films. He could have easily crossed them over and had it been an origin story with Jack interrupting the timeline.
That would have been a good
That would have been better. That would have been better.
That would have been a good idea.
And what's even goofier I think there's like a full moon Wicca, and they claim that, they can't determine if Evil Bong is part of the universe. I'm like, that's a fucking hallucination. That doesn't count.
That's Trancer 7, Jack's return. He's just high the whole time.
I mean, he's teaching him how to be a man.
In a couple of the hallucination scenes from Evil Bong, I'm surprised Jack didn't show up.
He might as well have. I mean,
He would have fit.
so part 5, I don't hate it as much as part 4, but it's still a loser. It goes into the other dimensional world, whatever the fuck that means.
Which is almost the same as the last dimensional world.
Right, it's just different, slightly different set.
The world of Orpheus with magic or whatever. It's like, huh? Like, listen, I clearly enjoy B movies and bad movies. These last 2, even for me, it's a tough one.
It really is a tough slog because it just feels like they ran out of money, and so Thomerson just wanted to get it done. And I think the directors should have just convinced him, hey, why don't you just ad-lib? It's way better than this stupid comic book storyline.
Right. I would have seen that. I would have appreciated that over whatever else they fucking did in this shit. And both of them. Just have Tim Thomerson ad-libbing badass lines throughout the entire thing. But no, you decided to go with this shit. Fuck off.
And he really does look like he's just either really does not want to interact with any of the actors. He's like, you guys, you're not ready.
Because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He knows he's in two pieces of shit, and he doesn't want to be there.
He's like, God damn it, Helen Hunt was right. I should have left after 3.
Right. She had the right idea. I should have been in the movie with Bill
He was
Paxton.
probably under some kind of contractual obligation at that point because you can tell he's like, "Can we get this over with?"
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to look, stargaze at pretty girls and drink all day. I don't know.
I think it was just that he didn't. It was a good check, and he didn't want to pass it up. But he's like, "Oh boy,"
Because he was still doing comedy at that point, I think, but he was still mainly doing just guest star appearances on every other show at that point.
Like, dude, you were in Nemesis, and you're doing this shit. Like,
oh,
come on,
man. I'm not sure if I should tackle Nemesis on here yet.
Oh, dude, Nemesis fucking rules.
No, I'm talking the sequels.
Oh, the sequels. The sequels. Part 4 would be something to tackle because Nemesis 4 is just.
Thanks to Andrew Diva.
Well,
It was
Andrew
watchable.
Diva, so Nemesis 4.
Oh yeah, that's right. Erica, I have so many questions about Andrew Devol's participation in Nemesis 4
Oh.
because
Well, I guess I don't know that full story. I mean, I'd have to ask him.
Yeah, it was cool makeup,
Yeah,
and I was suggesting to her earlier he should have been a bad guy in Star Trek or one of these transfer movies.
Yeah,
I-
that'd been cool.
I gotta say, like he has a line in Nemesis 4 that I love to this day when where Alex Rain talked about she hears singing angels and he's like, singing angels, that's funny, I only ever heard them cry. And it's like, that's a fucking amazing line. You're
That's
laughing.
pretty
That line
deep,
is
actually. Yeah,
that line is fucking
That is
amazing.
really good.
I was just being hesitant because I did get them very dirt cheap on eBay on a deal at $28, so all 4 of them.
Yeah, and especially when said by Andrew Devolf, you know, that line is so much better. You know, it's a great line as is, but said by Andrew Devolf, it's fucking amazing.
Well, and the reason I like him and the whole Fu Moon family is they really are pretty diverse. You're surprised with how many radio ads and other stuff they've done, and I really wish they would sneak them into one of these comic book blockbusters or something, you know, because
that could be good.
they are those type of people. They could actually do justice to something that's maybe an adaptation of something.
He would make a great Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah,
That's actually a good one. That's a good catch.
oh my god.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Hell, I wish he'd been Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But, he'd be a great Martian Manhunter.
Manhunter, hell, fucking. He could be one of the Punisher villains. I feel somewhere in there.
That's not a bad fit.
Do
Be
you
like,
think he could pull out a? Do you think he could pull off a Constantine?
he could be Constantine, but I was thinking like a different version of the Russian.
Oh.
Give him because he's pretty still
Pull off
fucking
those
built.
types of villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like maybe this speaks to my weirdness. I'd kind of like to see him doing like some kind of serial killer torture type role, but
He definitely needs to be some kind of Seven type villain who's been tortured
Yeah.
for decades.
I would love to see that. But I just from talking to him, I think he actually does not want to take those type of roles. Preferably, he doesn't want to do rape scenes. He doesn't want to do.
He's been part of a.
Explicitly violent scenes.
He's
so-
part of a bunch of animal charity groups, so I understand. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to promote an image. More or less, he could be some kind of other. Again, all these actors should be in a lot more. I don't know why.
Wait! I just got to point out that Trancers 4 and 5 suck so much that we just spread a tangent talking about Andrew Devolf.
Well,
We don't want to talk about Trancers 4 and 5. We want to talk about Andrew Devolf.
Well, that's because
Well, we're dancing around the sixth one. Is what we're doing.
I'm gonna not bore you too much on that one, but so basically, this is very much on the same level where we were before. It's kind of like Wishmaster, where it starts off interesting and yet just becomes drivel, and we're just like, this should be more. And so I think that's just it. I feel like either of those franchises should be part of some other universe, because I'm just tired of it always being just like, it's got to be a book universe or a comic book universe or a TV universe. Why can't it? You have all these wacky movies that are semi-related to each other.
Well, the Wishmaster.
Because that's a safe way to go, man.
The Wishmaster's part of the DC universe because that was basically
True.
Wonder Woman 84. The Wishmaster.
I noticed that. that quality of that movie.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84 is basically Wonder Woman fighting Wishmaster.
Damn.
Right.
Pedro Pascal, why you gotta do us like that?
She goes from she goes from the God of War to the Wishmaster.
Yeah, I liked it though. Everybody's hating on it, but I liked it.
And I think the first one set the bar kind of high for most of that movie. So the second one, people were expecting something more epic.
I think everybody's just jealous of how DC's trying something different, and they're sending all the Nazis, the critic Nazis, to destroy everything.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I gotta hit the blog. No, I'm kidding.
Even when I legit don't like a DC movie, I would hardly call it, oh, it should be in the bottom 250. No, it's not that kind of movie. I'm either disappointed or didn't care for it, but to call it the worst of all time, come on.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I get crap all the time for liking Justice League.
I do too.
I thought it was fun. It wasn't great, but it was fun.
I found Justice League to be a fine live action Sunday morning cartoon. Not Saturday morning, Sunday morning cartoon.
There's a difference.
To be fair, there's no more Saturday morning cartoons, so saying that really says something.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really.
So let's all rank these movies real fast.
So we're just glossing over 6?
I'm gonna leave it for my review. Yeah.
6 kind of sucks. I mean, I say that
six had a solid idea, but it was too little, too late.
Okay. So ratings. Let's rate them. Daniel.
Let's see. I'm definitely gonna go. Second one would be at the top. First would come second, and then the basic order 3, 4, 5. It's just downhill from there.
Okay. Yeah. Johnny 5.
I'm gonna go with 2, 1, 3, 6, 4, 5.
Perfect. And Erica.
I like the second one the best. Here.
Perfect.
First one I like second best. The third one is okay, and I can't comment on the other ones in the series because I didn't get to those.
Why would you want to?
Especially now.
You made the right choice, Erica. You made the right choice.
Okay. Perfect. Now, Rob, the Dungeon Master.
Definitely 2. 2 is my favorite. 1, I really like 1 a lot, and 3, 4, and 5 is like interchangeable to me. Like they all suck the same.
No.
I gotta admit, I kind of hate 3 more. 3 because it really undoes the beautiful ending that was part 2. So I kind of hate 3 more than anything else. But
So you got both their houses.
Yeah. But 3, 4, and 5 suck so much. So there's a 3-way tie for the 3 of them, and 6 doesn't exist to me.
Oh, good. So 4 and 5, those are a 0 out of 5. Just abysmal in every way. 6, I'm going to give it 2 out of 5, but it looks like one of Charles Band's Surrender Cinema films, but with Trancers type acting. And by Trancers type acting, I mean bastardization at the acting. It's just horrendous.
To be fair, it's a movie where no one that acted in it has a Wikipedia page.
It's exactly my point. Exactly.
That's kind of the problem I had with it. Like I
no connection.
Them trying to go back to I thought them trying to go back to the original idea and concept was okay, and him jumping into his future daughter was kind of a neat concept. But outside of that,
it's too goofy and it just doesn't know what it wants to be. So it just.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pass that by. Then 2 and 3, I'm going to give those a 4 out of 5. Those are B-tastic. Just outrageous Star Trek villains and just shit hitting the fan. I just can't get enough of it. And 1, that's a 3.5 out of 5. It's an 80s classic. It's just on that last viewing, that was rough for whatever reason. I don't know why. There's a lot of dead space in between all the awesome intro to an 80s soundtrack. But I definitely can't recommend the first 3 enough. They all got the Blu-ray treatment, so that should tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think 4 and 5 are only available on the box set. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are definitely
basically considered a Star Trek alternate universe. Everyone has those episodes where you're like, oh, I hate that episode where they go back in time to fight their evil clone. That's what those are. But done without any interest. So where can we all find you on social media before the timer runs out? Erica.
Find me at myhorrificlife.com, on Instagram at myhorrificlife.
Perfect. Danny boy. Trejo.
As always, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, The Nightmare Nerd, DJ Scary.
All right, Action Drunkie.
Of course, you can find me as the Cinema Drunkie on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as the Action Drunkies on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Perfection. Johnny boy.
You can find me at Attack of the B Movie Podcast on Facebook, and eventually on squabblebox.co.uk and their Facebook page as well.
Fuck yes.
So
Nice.
And as always, we're going to be chatting here everywhere from Discord to Facebook and Instagram. So if you guys want any more of these cult franchises reviewed, please hit us up. I might grow a brain and start a Patreon.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And keep romping and stomping in the jungle.
Nice.
Have a good night.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All? Sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time.
Ah.
Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We might talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one. Music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Ah, yes.
I am the master storyteller
Yes.
of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers,
Yes.
the Google Play,
Yes.
Apple Podcasts,
What else?
Podbean,
What else?
Podcast Addict,
Goddamn.
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ.
Ah.
We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say
Ah. Ah.
all
Ah.
that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Yeah. don't run the listeners away, PJ.
Ah, I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Peace.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And while Witch didn't make it to the top of the world, he did make the Gangs of Hollywood podcast. So join the gang and enjoy a movie review podcast about movie gangs, gangsters, mobsters, and the mayhem they cause. You can find GOH Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GOH Pod at www.gohpod.com, as well as your favorite podcast listening app. And remember, say hello to your little friend for me.
If you take two old punk rockers who are past their prime, put them in front of a movie screen, and give them a podcast, what do you get? Cinema Punks. Cinepunks. It's the mixtape of movies.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of it.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was
How
going to be a
did you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey.
And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts of Podcasting After Dark, a cast dedicated to late-night horror and sci-fi of the 80s and 90s, often found on HBO and Cinemax.
You know, the movies your parents didn't want you watching as a kid. You can find us every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher.
This is what you want.
This is what you get.
It's time, let's check our queue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. Whether one last plot holes or gratuitous movies, it's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.
Welcome to Who Was She podcast. I am your host, Tara Jabari. After a decade working in documentaries, marketing, and all things digital media, I found that podcasting is a strong medium to share stories. After years of producing for others, I decided to start my own biographical podcast. Who Was She will focus on the life of a woman throughout Baha'i history. The first season is about Lydia Zemenoff. Lydia's story explores the subjects of the power of language and faith. Her father invented the universal language Esperanto, and she came from a Jewish family and became a Baha'i. She grew up during World War I and was killed during World War II in a concentration camp, despite heroic efforts to save her life. How can one person's life intersect with so many others, connect across borders, and inspire a biography which inspired this podcast? Over the next few weeks, I will share her story with you and the lives that were most affected by her and those who affected her life as well. They include her father, Ludwig Zemenoff, her spiritual mother, American journalist Martha Root, and the Baha'i German soldier Fritz Mako, who worked for the resistance undercover while having to serve the Nazi Party. I want to thank the author Wendy Heller and George Ronald Publishing for their blessing to let me use Heller's biography, Lydia, The Life of Lydia Zamenhof, Daughter of Esperanto, as a main and instrumental resource for this podcast. So please subscribe and learn about this amazing woman who traveled through 3 continents in an effort to bring unity through the power of language. You can also find more information on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Who Was She Podcast. Music was composed and performed by Sam Red. I am your host, Tara Jabari. Join us next time as we begin our journey about Lydia Zamenhof.
Hi, everybody. It's Mac Jackson. I wanted to invite you to a new site called the Forever Adventure Network. This website has everything: pictures, videos, blogs. There's original music by Harmony Constant, 2 podcasts. One is the MacGyver podcast, where we celebrate Richard Dean Anderson, his iconic roles, and how it's influenced our lives. There's episode discussions, interviews, and life conversations. The second podcast is the Never Gets Old podcast, where we celebrate all the best things that we love in life, from TV, movies, music, and comics. The site is also the home for the MacGyver SG-1 audio series, an ongoing adventure series that continues the adventures of MacGyver and SG-1. There are also multiple stores to choose from for all of your pop culture and adventure needs. Come on by and check us out today. And thanks for joining the adventure.
Are you sick of the same old stale podcasts? Well, then join Vanessa and Darren as they dissect movies of all kinds. The 2 lifelong cinema lovers bring their favorites, curiosities, and first-time watches to the operating table and inject them with a healthy dose of snark. Then there's the waiting room, where they examine books and short stories. So just look for them on Apple Podcasts and where fine podcasts are available. They're part of the Legion Podcast Network. Follow them on Twitter at VDClinicPod. Join them on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/VDClinicPod. Or email them at vdclinicpod@gmail.com. They're ready to cure what ails you. And still, they just might be a little contagious.
We now continue with our program.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up